Most men grow up believing that love is earned through effort. Give more time, show more care, be more available. And for a while, that approach seems to work. Attention feels like progress, effort feels like loyalty, sacrifice feels like love. But sooner or later, something changes. The woman who once felt close starts pulling away. Her energy shifts, her interest fades, and the man is left confused, asking himself what he did wrong, when in reality, he did exactly what he was taught to do. Here's the truth most men are never told. A woman does not truly value a man who cannot walk away. This is not about cruelty, ego, or manipulation. It is about psychology. Attraction is rooted in respect, and respect disappears the moment a man becomes emotionally dependent. When a woman senses that a man's entire world revolves around her, admiration fades, even if she never says it out loud. Men often confuse attention with value. They believe that giving more will make them appreciated more. But constant availability does not create desire. It removes it. This video is not about playing games or withholding affection. It is about self-control, self-respect, and understanding how attraction actually works. Because the moment a man makes a woman his purpose instead of his priority, he begins to lose both his power and his peace. And once that happens, attraction has nowhere left to grow. One of the biggest mistakes men make in relationships is giving unlimited access to their time, energy, and emotions. They answer every message instantly. They drop plans the moment she calls. They make themselves available at all times, believing this proves commitment. But what it actually communicates is a lack of self-respect. Value is never created through overexposure. When something is always available, it stops feeling special. The same rule applies to attention. If your time has no structure, it loses weight. If your presence is guaranteed, it becomes predictable. Women do not lose attraction because a man is kind or attentive. They lose attraction when his life has no center outside of her. Unlimited access tells her, subconsciously, that you have nothing more important going on. And when a man's world is empty, his presence carries less impact. This is not about ignoring her or acting distant. It is about having a life that does not pause every time your phone vibrates. A man with purpose has a schedule. A man with direction protects his time. That discipline is attractive because it signals strength and self-control. When you say, "I'll talk to you later, I'm busy," and you genuinely mean it, you communicate confidence without saying a word. You show that your time matters, and when your time matters to you, it begins to matter to her. Access should be earned, not given freely. The man who gives too much becomes taken for granted. The man who values himself creates curiosity, respect, and attraction, naturally. A man who is always present gives a woman no opportunity to feel the weight of his absence, and without absence, there is no contrast. Without contrast, value fades. Most men are afraid to step back. They fear that if they create space, they will lose her. So they stay constantly available, checking in, reassuring, filling every silence. But what they don't realize is that this constant presence slowly removes desire. A woman cannot miss what never leaves. Absence is not punishment. It is perspective. When you step back calmly and with intention, it allows her to feel the difference between having your presence and not having it. That emotional contrast creates reflection. Her mind begins to wander. She starts to notice the quiet, and in that quiet, she feels your value. This is not about disappearing or playing emotional games. It is about balance. You engage when it matters, and you pull back when your focus belongs elsewhere. Your life continues to move forward, with or without her attention. When your presence brings confidence, stability, and peace, your absence will be felt deeply. Silence, when used correctly, carries more weight than constant explanation. Distance does not destroy attraction. Emotional dependency does. A grounded man understands when to step forward and when to step back. He allows space without fear because he knows his value does not come from being constantly seen. It comes from being solid. If you do not make yourself a priority, no one else will do it for you. This is one of the hardest truths for men to accept, especially in relationships. Many men believe that putting a woman first proves love. In reality, it often leads to losing yourself. At the beginning, attraction forms because of who you are, your drive, your ambition, your independence. But once a relationship begins, many men slowly abandon those qualities. They cancel their routines, neglect their goals, and start organizing their lives around her happiness. At first, the attention feels good. Over time, it becomes suffocating. A woman does not want to be the center of your life. She wants to be invited into a life that already has direction. When you make her your entire world, you stop being the man she was drawn to in the first place. Putting yourself first does not mean being selfish or emotionally unavailable. It means protecting your health, your peace, and your purpose. A man who is grounded in his own life carries a natural confidence. He does not chase, he does not beg, he chooses. When you stay committed to your growth, physically, mentally, and professionally, you become more attractive without trying. Your energy shifts, your presence becomes stable, and that stability creates respect. Men who neglect themselves to keep a woman happy eventually feel drained and resentful. That is not love, that is self-abandonment. The strongest version of you is the one who remains centered, disciplined, and independent, regardless of who stands beside you. One of the quickest ways a man loses respect is by constantly seeking approval, wanting reassurance, needing compliments, explaining himself again and again just to be understood or accepted. This behavior does not build connection, it weakens it. Validation seeking comes from insecurity, not confidence, and insecurity is always felt, even when it is not spoken. A man who needs constant affirmation silently communicates that he does not believe in his own worth. Respect is never given to the man who begs for it. It is given to the man who stands firm without needing permission. Strong men move with quiet confidence. They do not rush to prove themselves. They let their actions speak. They know who they are, what they stand for, and what they will not tolerate. Because of that certainty, they do not chase reactions or emotional reassurance. When you stop chasing validation, something powerful happens. Your presence becomes heavier. Your words carry weight. People listen more closely, not because you demand attention, but because you no longer seek it. Women are naturally drawn to men who are self-assured, not loud, not dramatic, but grounded. A man who does not need to be liked is often the man who is most respected. The moment you stop trying to convince her of your value, she begins to feel it. And when your value is felt instead of explained, the dynamic shifts. Attraction grows where self-respect lives. A man's true strength is revealed when he is under emotional pressure. Yet this is where most men lose control. The moment a woman pulls back, replies late, or changes her tone, panic sets in, overthinking begins, messages multiply, explanations follow, and in trying to fix the situation, the man unintentionally pushes her further away. Emotional reactions create predictability, and predictability slowly erodes attraction. Mastery does not mean suppressing emotions or pretending not to care. It means choosing not to let emotions control your behavior. A composed man observes first. He responds with clarity instead of reacting with fear. When a man begs for attention, he is silently saying that his peace depends on her response. That dependence shifts the balance of power. Women may not say it directly, but they feel it immediately, and respect fades when emotional control disappears. A grounded man remains calm even when uncertainty appears. He does not chase reassurance. He does not demand explanations in moments of silence. He stays focused on his purpose, his routine, and his inner stability. This emotional control creates safety, and safety builds attraction. When a woman sees that your mood is not dictated by her behavior, she begins to trust your strength. She feels that you are steady, reliable, and unshaken. Real power comes from discipline over the self. When you master your emotions, you stop chasing reactions, you stop begging for attention, and you become a man whose presence commands respect without effort. Standards are the foundation of self-respect. Without them, a man has no direction, no boundaries, and no authority in his own life. Yet many men abandon their standards the moment attraction is involved. They tolerate behavior they would never accept from anyone else, just to keep a woman interested. That is where respect is lost. Standards are not about controlling her. They are about controlling yourself. They define what you will accept and what you will walk away from. When you compromise your values out of fear, you teach others that your boundaries are flexible, and flexible boundaries are easily ignored. A man with clear standards does not argue emotionally or explain himself repeatedly. His actions speak for him. When a boundary is crossed, he responds with calm distance, not anger. That consistency communicates strength. Women often test boundaries, not to challenge you, but to see if you will fold. Deep down, they respect the man who does not. A man who stands firm shows that he values his peace more than temporary approval. When you enforce standards, you protect your identity. You stop settling for attention and start attracting alignment. People begin to treat you according to the level of respect you demand through your behavior. Standards are not about being perfect. They are about being principled. The moment you break your own rules for someone else, you lose leverage. But when you stay consistent, you show the world and yourself that your value is not negotiable. There comes a moment when every man must make a decision: continue tolerating disrespect or choose self-respect. Most men avoid this moment. They stay in situations where they feel unappreciated, uncertain, or emotionally drained, hoping things will eventually change. Hope, without action, becomes a trap. Walking away is not weakness. It is one of the strongest decisions a man can make. It means you recognize your worth even when someone else does not. Many men stay because of fear: fear of being alone, fear of starting over, fear that they will not find better. That fear slowly destroys confidence and peace. A man who can walk away calmly holds real power. He does not threaten, he does not argue, he does not explain himself endlessly. He simply removes his presence, and presence is powerful. When you stay after being disrespected, you teach her that your boundaries do not matter. But when you leave with dignity, silence speaks louder than any words. It creates clarity. Either she recognizes what she lost, or you free yourself to find someone who values you without conditions. Walking away is not about making her chase you. It is about choosing yourself. It is about refusing to settle for half-hearted effort or inconsistent respect. A man who knows when to leave understands his value. And once you learn that skill, you never again accept relationships that cost you your peace.